Hey, future people, it's Phonix, and we're back in the Deus Ex today.
Mrs. Reed?
Adam, I'm sorry you startled me. And please, call me Cassandra. You and Megan were together long enough. I was waiting for you.
Out here? Why not come meet me inside?
I don't know. I guess I'm just not ready. This is where you work, but to me, this is also the place where I lost my daughter.
And I get ambushed by a side quest. I try not to think about it. I guess I never thought of it that way. I know what you mean. It's been the same. Never been the same for me either. Oh, is that the difference between empathetic and sympathetic? Empathetic is saying, I know how you feel, kind of, and sympathetic is saying, I feel the same way. I'm not sure. Okay, my quick search revealed empathetic would be more saying you feel the same way, and sympathetic would be more saying you're moved by their emotions. So, I don't know if those are the right responses for that, but I usually go with empathetic, like, oh, I guess I never considered it, because he's just like, why don't you want to enter the building, because it seems the most appropriate.
I guess I never thought of it that way.
I'm sorry. It's not proper of me to come here and stir up bad memories, especially after what you've been through.
Yeah. A lot of things changed 6 months ago.
I can't get over how much they've changed you. At first, I couldn't even believe you were still alive. How do you handle all of this?
They did what they had to do to save me. I do what I have to do, augmented or not. I never asked for this. I'm gonna go a little bit with this because there's evidence Jensen feels this way, like his shattered mirror. So...
I never asked for this. They say they saved me, but I'm not sure saved is the right word.
I understand your anger. I wouldn't take too kindly to people making that kind of decision for me, either. But that being said, I, for one, am glad that you're still among us.
Can I ask why you wanted to see me?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I'm here about Megan. About what happened to her. Or rather, about the investigation into what happened.
What about it?
Well, simply put, I feel something is not quite right with the way the case was handled.
You think there was some foul play involved?
I do. Call it mother's intuition. But when speaking to some of the investigators, there were a lot of inconsistencies. And then I met this detective, a man called Chase. He agreed things weren't handled by the book, although he has no proof.
And now you want to find out more?
I'll never hear my daughter laugh again, Adam. I'll never get a call from her to ask how I've been, or have the chance to ask her about her day. She was stolen from me. However unjustified this all is, I still want to know why it happened. You're not the same, Adam. And we've yet to see if it's for better or worse. But I know you loved Megan. Please, will you help me find out what really happened to her?
There's decline, accept quest details. And I think the only quest detail is, like, asking for a reward. So, one thing I think about Adam is, even though you can be resentful about your augmentations, like, you can still choose to make them a net positive for yourself and others by helping people, or helping yourself at the very least, being selfish. But helping people, I think, would be what Adam does. When they finish the trilogy, we'll know all. I'm gonna ask this just because I want to get more dialogue, and this won't be the final save. I can just reload this out of existence.
Should I expect some form of compensation for this?
Adam, you're serious, aren't you? My God, this isn't who you used to be. I thought a chance to know what really happened to Megan, what really happened to you, would have been enough. Would have been worth your time.
Yeah. So let's just say that's a non-canonical response.
I never got a chance to investigate the attack myself. I'll look into it.
Thank you. This means the world to me, Adam. Really.
The first thing I'll need to do is meet with this detective, Chase.
Good. He works part-time as a security guard in an apartment building on Brooklyn Court. I'll be waiting for you in your apartment lobby once you're done.
Why does a detective need to work part-time as a security guard?
Oh, he retired soon after the case. I don't really know the details. Maybe he'll tell you more.
I'm on it.
So now we just spoke to Megan's Reed mother, actually, which is the first side quest that the player, actually, it's the second side quest in the game that you're exposed to after the one in Jensen's office. And basically, at the beginning, when we started to design the side quests, we were really hiding them in the world, and they were
I can
hard
come
to
back
find.
for it.
That was one of the main problem we had.
I think it was initially what we wanted. We wanted you to have to explore and find, and through the exploration you'd come upon side quests. But we also had plans for many, many more side quests than currently exist in the game.
True. And the other problem we had as well is that our side quests were kind of very shallow. Like they didn't really capture anything interesting. What we always said we wanted to avoid those typical go get the milk at the convenience store kind of side
Save
quest.
the cat from the
Save
tree.
the cat, exactly. And the first pass we ended up pretty much with that. So.
Yeah, we for the first pass we just a lot of it was for our early vertical slice, the early testing of our game, and we did have quite a few in there that ended up getting cut, and then we had to go back after we played through that. We realized, whoa, as you said, these are way too shallow, and we really need to take the opportunity to really make them much more interesting, both from a gameplay and a story standpoint, and the theme standpoint. And we really wanted them to reflect the themes of the game, and we also kind of came upon the knowledge that, okay, these need to be designed. Here you are, you're playing Adam Jensen, you're on a quest to save the world. Why should you be pulled off of it? They had to be relevant, they had to relate to him personally somehow, or somehow invoke more
to the
of
characters
that world
around him. And
and
but
once we
because
started doing
sometimes
that,
a basement is just full of rats and somebody needs to take care of it.
yeah.
But the characters had to be interesting as well, and it was well written.
They did.
And I was really happy with how we cast them, because I thought they were all really, like, sometimes in games when you go from the main cast and you start going to lower tier characters, you can feel the quality drop off, and we didn't want to have that, and I know you and I spoke about it. So I really like that. In fact, some of the side quest characters are probably some of my more favorite characters in the game.
I agree.
Yeah, and some very, very interesting acting that came out of it.
Yeah.
One of the actors, I think, was
Vasla.
Vasla, and he's just the security guard
That's
in
perfect.
Megan's
awesome.
mother's quest, and it's his acting is absolutely amazing,
yeah,
and it was really nice that we were able to kind of get that extra depth. And the guys who jumped on board to write the side quest, Bruce and JF, were just amazing, and they really rose to the challenge. It was great.
Yeah. So it saved our side quests.
Yes.
Okay, this should allow me to get up there. Maybe even up there. I'm lucky I didn't hurt myself.
Got any credits to spare? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna use them to buy booze.
There's a beer right there. I guess there is nothing else up there.
So something that was really important, again, you're gonna hear this coming back over and over. It's this whole idea of like credibility to a lot of the stuff like Jeff mentions in another one of these beacons. The idea was not to make a sci-fi game. It was about to make an anticipation of the future, and in order to do this properly, a lot of the things need to look just like they look today, in a very precise way. And the storefronts for us were something very important. These are the things sometimes that we miss the target in video games. They look like things that almost as if we've never walked in a real street before. We've never been into a store. You can see it's an abstraction almost of what storefronts look like. So that was pretty important. I mean, some of them are better than others, but at
the same time, that shows that the attention of detail that
yeah,
was
it's all
super
part of that.
important for the game, not only in visuals but in all the aspects of the game. But yeah,
no, that's very
that's
very
a fun
true.
example.
That's very true, and you can see not only can you see the product in those storefronts, and you can see what the brands are, but also the actual kind of design of these storefronts. The kind of like interesting kind of artsy thing that they have is something we work hard really on.
And in one of the things that we were saying, many times that we didn't necessarily fully care if people would recognize all those details, but as they would walk the streets, as they would go into the environments, they would absorb it in a natural fashion, because that's how the real world is built, and therefore, even though they don't notice it consciously,
their subconscious are gonna pick up on it. It's actually, if something is wrong, most of the time you actually notice it consciously, and if something is right, it's actually more your subconscious that registers it. So it's a lot easier to really affect the player that if you're wrong, than because that they really know pick it up right away. So you need to work pretty hard at that.
Damn it, I need one more. Oh, looky here, there's one more. At least I don't notice when you drop in. No Better, The Myth of Human Augmentation by William Taggart. Humankind has always sought to improve itself. From the earliest iterations of civilization, we improved our minds through education and the pursuit of knowledge, our souls through the quest for spiritual truth, and our bodies through the eradication of disease and hunger. You will forgive me, perhaps, when I dare to say that the human being is a divine engine. It's the ultimate expression of life on our earth, and so it is a precise and sacred thing. And so it is a precious and sacred thing. Humanity is what we have, it is what we are. But that purity falls beneath a shadow, and that shadow is greed. It is weakness. The power is at our fingertips to replace flesh with steel and plastic. But the truth is this. For each piece of yourself you surrender, your humanity dies a little more. You are no better. Wow, it's kind of like...
I ain't got nothing for you. Check with the man. And keep your hands where I can see them.
So here's the weapon merchant inside of the gas station, and the whole gas station was a very
everything's on the computer, is what he said.
Old building that we kept from all the way back from the very first vertical slice. And instead of trying to redesign it as we went along in the production of the whole city hub, we actually tried to keep it because we thought it was one of the very cool things visually, and also gameplay-wise. There was a lot of potentials to do with it, and we always wanted to have a weapon merchant, a black market merchant inside of it. And the thing is, for us, since you work on a game, it's always very, you lose some kind of objectivity about what you think is good about your game. So for me, it was very obvious that there was someone in there. But from the playtests, almost every single playtesters did not see the weapon merchant. So.
But we were debating like, oh, should it be obvious or should it be hidden, and etc. etc. And we went back and forth a couple of times until we decided, okay, let's make it more.
At some point, we had an icon about those guys and trying to create some kind of a Metal Gear Solid-ish type of group or something like that. And at the end, we said, fuck it.
Always a pleasure.
That's the limb clinic. Four, damn, that's high. Oh shoot, is there gonna be some French people talking? Oh, it's too short.
Mr. Jensen, David Seraph told me you'd be dropping by. I've just been reviewing the test results we received on you last week.
Should I start rolling up my sleeves?
Surprisingly, no. I see no trace of glial tissue buildup in any of your charts.
It's been 6 months, Doc. Shouldn't I be under Opposine shots by now?
One would think, but these test results show no signs of implant rejection. If anything, the bond between tissue and electrodes seems to be getting stronger.
So I'm free to go?
Well, Mr. Seraph did ask me to discuss another topic with you. You are aware that several precautionary measures had to be put into place during your first surgery?
Not all of my implants were switched on, I know.
The damage caused by the hematoma had to be taken into account. Your brain needed time to recover, to get used to the mechanical neural processors and turn them on naturally over time.
Cut to the chase, Doc. What does Seraph want?
He feels that you might be ready to speed up the activation process using special software known as Praxis Kits.
You mean I don't have to wait for my augmentations to kick in naturally anymore?
You can, if you prefer. But Mr. Seraph did make a generous donation to LIM in your name, thus ensuring that Praxis software linked to your particular neuro enhancements would always be available to you and you alone. Please, take a look.
Take a look. Typhoon ammo.
Code blue. Dr. LeBlanc, code blue.
Very well, Mr. Jensen. Use it in good health.
Do you think I have enough praxis points now? There we go.
The Limb Clinic, actually, it's one of the few places where you cannot use your guns like in Seraph Industries, and that was also a big debate in the team because the philosophy of the game is to let you play the way you want, and it's all about letting you face the consequences to your actions and everything. But for the chaos management in the game came in quite late, and if you really want to support it well,
we tried so many scenarios to support in both the Limb Clinic, the Seraph building as well. Is just try to figure out how do we support chaos, and mostly with revisitation. When you go back to Limb Clinic, when you go back to Seraph, how do we deal with that when Jensen is supposed to be a neutral character, almost an ally character, even more so in the Seraph building. But even in the Limb Clinic, I mean, it's a neutral place where it doesn't make sense to create chaos, and then we wanted to support chaos everywhere, but technically was very, very challenging.
Actually, I remember endless meetings.
Yeah.
The limb clinic, like weeks and weeks
Yeah,
and
and at
weeks of
first
meetings.
we put Markovic and everyone behind bulletproof glass so that
Right.
so that if the player did create chaos, they would go into cowering mode. And
But
we
that's what
even
they
wrote
are.
lines for them, like
Yeah,
you could
yeah.
still get your augmentations even though you just shot and killed everybody in front of
They're
them.
still behind those glass.
it would have-
Yeah, they're still behind the glass.
It would have been possible to support it, but it would have felt kind of off. And,
Exactly.
Or to make it sound right, it would have been almost a
And
project on its
remember
own.
that for a big part of the development, we actually had to go to the limb clinic to get augmented.
Yeah.
On
not
top
the
of
Praxis
that,
kit,
you know,
yeah.
yeah.
And that makes me think about exactly like with the Praxis kit system. Originally, you didn't have all the augmentations in your body, and you had to go basically getting there to have your legs cut and then be replaced by augmented
You
legs.
basically had to go under surgery every time you
Yeah.
wanted
Exactly.
Yeah, we had
an
a whole
upgrade.
cutscene. You remember
Yeah,
that of
exactly.
the
Yeah.
surgery?
Variations
and
of cutscene, they were
Yeah.
doing again.
And it was not totally elegant. And on top of that, the other problem that rose was that it was only giving the city hubs for the players to augment themselves. And at some part in the game, you go in Picus, you go there, and for a long time, you're not in a city hub. And we wanted to go with a system that was allowing the players to upgrade like
On the
whenever they
fly.
wanted, when they had the right XP points. And this is where the Praxis kits
And
came
I
in.
remember when you brought that up to me with the Praxis kits, I was ready to kill you because we'd already rewritten and re-recorded Markovic behind the glass twice. And now we had to rewrite her entire speech a third time and bring the actress back in yet again to record and make that make sense.
And you didn't kill me because you knew it was the right call, right?
So many people almost
If
got
you say
murdered
so.
on this game, man. Jesus Christ.
And also one of the things that you did with that with Steve and everything was to have the doctors being like all DX team members and stuff. And
Oh no, that's the if you pay attention to the when you're in the limb clinic and you'll hear the paging system and the people being paged, Dr. Chetri, Dr. Shipkowski, these are all members of the team.
And what happened to Markovic? She used to be pretty.
No, it's just that she was younger, but the model didn't work super
And yeah,
well.
she was younger, but it took us so much time to make that
She
game that
aged in the
she
game.
aged.
She aged with us.
If we had
But,
to age,
yeah.
she did too.
And also the visuals of the limb clinic. It's also one of the big cyber renaissance places of the game, and you know, it kind of works okay, I guess.
Will you be purchasing something after all?
I purchased something last time.
As you wish.
Hypostim is just a bigger version.
Anesthesia before. Is it true they stop your heart and the machine does your breathing?
More or less. I know it sounds a little hair-raising, but we do it every day, several times over. It's a very safe procedure.
Will I feel any pain or anything?
It gets done through your IV needle. You'll be asked to count backwards, and the next thing you know, you'll be opening your eyes and the procedure will be over.
Wow. Will I dream?
Not while you're under, but you might afterward as you wake up.
Here we go. The Visual Cortex 2.0, their eye redesigned. Excerpt from an article by Hugh Darrow in the American Cybernetics Gazette, Winter 2012 edition. In the organic model, normal vision begins when the light enters the eye through its lens and moves it through to strike specialized light-receiving photoreceptor cells coating the retina. Called rods and cones, these cells convert light into electrochemical impulses that are sent down the optic nerve and into the sense centers of the human brain. In healthy subjects, the eye can function well for many years, but no diseases like age-related macular degeneration and retinitis pigmentosa destroy vision by annihilating these important cellular matrices. A visual prosthetic, what some might colloquially call a bionic eye, is a form of neuroprosthesis intended to partially restore lost vision in a patient suffering from one of the aforementioned afflictions, or to amplify and enrich the existing vision capacity of a healthy subject. Darrow Industries' refinement of the technology does away with the need for an external camera to implant relay system, instead reducing the extant hardware for a single biochip directly inserted into the retinal zone of the eye. Oh, sorry.
So this is the operation room that actually originally when we spoke about how Adam Jensen was getting augmented by like having some limbs severed and eventually be replaced, we had a cutscene where Jensen was on the operating table and then so it was used each time that you were getting augmented.
And we were going to do multiple versions of
Absolutely, absolutely. And
that was back when we smoked drugs or something.
Yeah, but it was back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
You did.
Oh, God.
And when we changed the system for the Praxis kits and everything, it was the system that, like we said, you already had the augmentations. You just have to kind of awaken the power in some ways. And we didn't need that cutscene anymore, and therefore we had produced one version that was not used in the game. But as we built the game and we came with the recall for the chip later in the Angsha, where you can go and have your system augmentation system fixed or not, then if you do it, we reuse that cutscene that was supposed to be used for augmentations.
Yeah.
But then they didn't use it, so all that is basically... Okay, I believe... No, it's AJ090922.21. I believe you have misconstrued Mr. Saracen Tenvera. He only wanted to give your patient some general medical advice. Mr. Margolis. Of course I appreciate Mr. Sarah's support, which is why I will do my best to explain to my patient exactly what this generous gift entails. But that is as far as I will go. From now on, whatever augmentations he decides to acquire will be his choice and his alone. The patient, not the employer, will be the one to decide whether tested prototype augmentations should be included with all the others or not. Sincerely, Vera Markovic, MD Limb Clinic. Or Limb International. Okay. Attention all staff. An inspection team from the World Health Organization will be paying a visit to your limb clinic within the next week or so in order to evaluate the conditions there. Please ensure that everything is properly prepared for their inspection. When they arrive, treat them with courtesy, but continue about your business and do not interfere. In anticipation of the visit, all employees must ensure that WHO guidelines are being followed to the letter at all times. Bear in mind that any negative evaluation will severely infringe upon your clinic's ability to solicit funding. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, oh, here's actually the first one. Okay. Blood O, RHD negative. Family history, unknown, adopted at 5, no papers. Has demonstrated healing ability greater than 2 standard deviations above the mean in the following speed of recovery, repossession of faculties, post-traumatic memory retention, unusually high qualities of NGF appearing around implantation site, unique autoimmune disorder, may indicate he may not require neuropazine injections anytime soon. One previous operation 6 months ago, life critical, requiring full replacement of chest cavity, left arm, right arm, and legs replaced at behest of the employer. Authority granted under terms of employment contract. Recovery speed being unknown at the time. Patient was also pre-fitted with PDOT biochips in all areas of possible neuropazine, neuroprosthetic insertion to reduce need for physiotherapy following any subsequent enhancement surgeries. Okay, so what is this talking about? Adam Jensen.
Protesting is not against the law.
I know that, officer. But some of those guys were carrying tire irons and setting garbage cans on fire.
And those were the ones we arrested. The rest were merely exercising their right to free speech.
What about my right to come to work each day without fearing for my life? I've still got to walk home tonight.
I understand your concern. But if you want round-the-clock protection, I suggest you hire a private security company.
Say it's your right. It's suggesting on the signs back there. It made me think maybe he should just get some augmentation so he can just like boom and kill them or something. I don't think he gets paid enough for that. Or at least be able to fight back.
Adam, are you finished at the clinic?
Maybe.
For now.
Good. Right now I want to know who that corpse is. Head over to the police station and get his neural hub. And Adam, if you can't talk your way in, consider making a strategic retreat. There's gotta be another entrance in the side of the building.
Oh, come on, boss. I can't believe you just said that.
You serious? You gonna join the derelict roll ballers?
In the middle of a gang war?
Yo, keep your voice down, man. Why don't you just call Eliza and have her broadcast it?
I'm telling you, Spike. Those cats are serious about taking out the bank. Man, you a fucking card lover or something?
Shut it, D-Bone. Look, dude, Paul, the gang war don't scare me. Because I hear the MCBers don't stand a chance. Not with all the firepower that's been slipping into D-Row.
Yeah, that. More than enough to bag each one of us a car.
Are they done talking? I guess so. Tell one of them, we're like, yo, I'm gonna go for a smoke or something. It's a good thing he can't see very well, because we'll have to let it in the water. I saved outside the convention center.
You better not go there, man. Unless you want to get out of this, Hanser. Get lost.
What the hell? Could have swore there was something here.
Yo, anyone there? Come on, man. Step up.
Well, at least he gave himself a pep talk.
Keep out of this, Hanser. Get lost.
Oh, he saw me.
It's too late to run.
I will stay.
Yo, anyone there? Nothing here. Gunshots. This ain't the place for you, Hanser.
Yeah, knocking these guys out doesn't give any XP. I can still take their weapons though.
Come on. This ain't the place for you, Hanser.
Whatever, okay. I should have guessed they were civilians because the prompts didn't appear.
So you notice that there's a lot of street signs all over the place in places like Hengsha and of course Detroit. And one of the things that fell on our on the writing team at some point was we would see these signs very late in the production process. And at one point I saw one of these street signs for Detroit, and I realized that it was in metrics. It was not in you know, feet and
It
miles.
was in the proper.
And
It was
things
in the
like this.
proper system.
And so
and then we needed to switch it to the
and as one of
crazy
the few
system.
Americans on this mostly French Canadian team, I then had to basically send an email out to the whole team saying, guys, sorry, but we're in Detroit, and Detroit uses, you know, doesn't use metrics, and so make sure that all your signs are in the correct
non-scientific method.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where Detroit is again?
Yeah. So anyway, so that was kind of funny because we sent that out, and I think that it was one of those kind of silly things that you're sitting there going, gee, nobody thought of that.
No, but it's true. No, it was really good that you made us notice. Yeah, that it was measured and yeah.
So that's why we had an American on the team.
Yeah, for that.
The only reason.
The only reason.
In order to bring you this show via satellite. But I'm good with it. I'm good with it because I understand the reality of living in a slave state. You can bet they'll keep trying to shut us down, but I won't stop, followers.
Guess he's done on the radio for now.
This is just the first step in the plan.
He's digging through garbage. His first step in the plan. Dig through garbage. Should have left a barrel over here. Darn.
Well, shit. If it ain't the captain himself. Mr. Seraph done fixed you up good, ain't he? Give you new set of glasses and everything. Damn.
How you doing, Letitia?
Didn't think I'd see you walking this boulevard anytime soon, that's for sure. Not after what happened 6 months ago. People said you's down for the count.
People
This
tend
is
to
an odd
underestimate me.
character.
You and me both, Captain. You and me both. You, got any credit you could spare?
Here. It's not credits, but...
Mighty kind, Captain. Mighty kind.
Okay.
How about you give me some information, and then we'll see.
Oh, damn, Captain. You ain't no cop no more. Why you gotta insist on using them rules?
Because it's my money this time, not the department's. You want it, you better give me something that's worth it.
Yeah, I guess. So what you wanna know?
I might need to do a little trespassing soon. Maybe get inside some places where I'd rather not be seen going in.
You being kind of vague, Captain. But maybe it's best I don't know the Pacifics.
You got that right.
What I do know, though, is that most people tend to look down, not up. And even when looking down, they don't necessarily think about what's under their feet. If a person ain't too squeamish about getting dirty, they might be able to get inside one or more sensitive areas in the city. Especially if they arm themselves ahead of time with the right information. Interesting thing about the sewers in the city, Captain. Some of them pass right under the police station, but that don't stop some people from hiding things down there.
What kind of things?
I was not sure, but a bunch of them walls been patched over pretty quick. Man like you might be able to find out why. Especially if he's fixed up with some of the magic eyes that sees through stuff. Mr. Seraph has to make eyes like that, don't you think?
I guess I should just pay and he will hear it, but I don't think I'll learn anything I didn't know.
I was just guessing here, Captain. But since you ain't a policeman no more, maybe it's a bit hard to get you inside that police station some days. Especially when things are being classified. There is a door I know about, though. Connects to the sewers. Only thing is, it's usually locked.
Hate to tell you this, Tish, but that information isn't worth the admission price you're charging.
That's 'cause I ain't giving you the code yet. Jeez, Captain, have some patience. $25.99. 2599. Now, I's not advising you do this. You's being an AUG and all. But if this trespassing you's needing to do happens to be inside D-Row, street gang territory, then you's definitely don't want to be seen going in.
Because the ballers would sooner rip me apart than ask questions.
Exactly. You being an AUG now and all. But some of them old buildings over there are real crumbly up near the top. Fire escape's still okay though. So maybe you find a hole, get you inside if you goes up.
Keeping my fingers crossed the whole time that the building doesn't fall apart on my way down.
Oh, they stronger than you think. But it's true. You might want to invest in some of Mr. Sarah's falling down augmentation before you goes in. 'Cause I'm pretty sure them elevators don't work.
It's been a while since I walked the beat. Where would a less than exemplary citizen go these days if he needed to acquire some unlicensed firepower?
Well now, I hear there might be a gun seller or two around town. But an adventuring man, especially one fixed with some of that fancy techno limbs Mr. Seraph makes. He might be able to acquire a few more if he's willing to go the extra mile.
Oh God.
I think I've got all.
All right, so this was a subject that seemed to kind of raise a slight little bit of controversy,
Yeah.
even though we didn't see it coming for a mile. Basically, we had this character, Letitia, that she was designed or planned to design to be as a bag lady, a real hardcore hobo, because we had a lot of them. But Jensen had a relationship with her in the sense that she's been around and he's seen her around, and he often, I guess, would get information from her because it was kind of hinted at that, you know, that they had that type of rapport.
But first, if I could jump in and say, Letitia was a character who was added to the game very, very, very late. We were in beta already, and it was, we mentioned earlier about the David Seraph and having to bring him back in. When that call was made for the hostages, we said, the game design team said, or the level design team said, we would love to have a helper character. Can we throw this character in at the last minute? So we had to write this character very, very quickly, and we only had a pool of like 4 actors we could choose from, and it was either she was either going to be a black girl, a white girl, a black guy, or a white guy.
Yeah.
And so when we looked at all the actors available, we didn't actually plan her to be a black female character. It was just which of our actors are available.
It was
and
more out
let's
of
write to
convenience, and we had a good actor pool. Like, we were comfortable with any of them, but it just happened that when booking sessions, sometimes you're going to have lines for 3 hours and you can only book a 4-hour block. So you try and look and see, well, how can we maximize our money and our time, and maybe we can give them another character and help ourselves and not have to book another session. So it kind of fell into that. And for the record, I also want to say that the actress was African American, and it was her idea to play the character that way.
Yes.
In hindsight, where we kind of dropped the ball is that I think what really disturbed people, or what really seemed like a rude awakening, was that she kind of didn't look like a bag lady. And I think, again, you stressing that it happened very late in the game, you know, everybody's kind of running and taking care of their own fires and trying to, we're doing our best to kind of keep all the balls in the air at this point, and we know that the clock is winding down, so everybody's really frantic. And then it was just like, we saw it in game, and it didn't really phase us, as we were sort of like, well, yeah, she doesn't look as hardcore as we were expecting, but whatever, you know, like at that point we were nearing the finish line and we had much bigger issues to look at. And it was only once the game shipped and we started seeing some of these comments
and
that
realized
that we looked at it with a different filter, saying, okay, we could understand why people sort of were a little put off. And I still think that had she been presented
the proper way,
as
a unique character, as a very homeless
somewhat
woman,
mentally disturbed, homeless woman, bag lady that you might find in the street, it would have worked.
I don't think it would have been perceived the way it was by certain people. And I was glad that not everybody.
In my opinion, you should have just let people like
took it that
exist.
way.
Yeah.
But we felt pretty bad when we saw how some of the people were reacting, because that was not our intention at all.
Where is that?
Detroit automated information, including directory assistance, tourist information, and street quest. Services are temporarily offline.
Oh, look, someone marked derelict row for you as well. Oh yeah, this is the place I needed that barrel for. Alright, I guess I have to go get a second barrel.
Hansen, right? Heard about you. Yeah, you were a good cop by most accounts. But you're lucky you got out. I'd advise you to stay away from the DRB gang if you can.
I mean it, man. Get lost.
Who do you think you are?
Why do some people feel they can just walk up to anyone and start yapping? Shove off, mister.
So yeah, here we have the world boundaries. Actually, one of the important thing that we wanted is that to make you feel that the cities or the places you are feel are bigger than what you actually play. But it turned out that it was pretty much more difficult to come up with satisfying world boundaries than we thought in the first place.
Yes, it was very difficult because at first, like designing anything from, you always base yourself on experience and what you can learn from either competitors or online and experience from other guys. And since I was coming from mostly a Rainbow Six type of environment, so as a designer, I actually used to design compounds in very close quarter type of environments. For me, City Hub was just a huge challenge. It was really good, very cool for me to actually experience that challenge. But doing the world boundaries for me, I was just like, let's do a dead end and that's it. Not focus.
Because even the streets in the Rainbow Six are a lot more kind of corridor-like almost.
Yeah, exactly. In Rainbow Six, you just place an invisible collision and you don't care about that. But of course, in a Deus Ex game, you don't want to do that. At least I try, but I was, not do that. But the thing is, then from the first, I think it was the first play test we did, where we see some feedback while seeing those guys, and we definitely need to see that those Wilburys were not good enough for the production.
It was feeling artificial, and it was constantly reminding the players that they were into a game and in a small contained map.
Yeah, exactly. So very late, we actually did some meetings trying to define how can we make them more fun to at least to look at, and I actually changed them as windows to the actual background city, which was a very tough thing to do because we already had a lot of constraints on memories with the amount of NPCs, things we could actually move around and stuff.
There we go, I could do it with one. So now I'm just gonna hack these garage doors she told me about. Here's the other world boundary.
Access granted.
There we go. Okay. I'm pretty much certain I got that before I did the limb clinic.
So something that was really important, again, you're gonna hear this coming back over and over. It's this whole idea of like credibility.
Okay, I did hear this one.
How may I be of service?
I haven't even looked at his to buy items.
See you soon. What's your... Always a pleasure.
So here's the weapon merchant inside of the gas station, and the whole gas station was a very old building that we kept from all the way back from the very first vertical slice. And instead of trying to redesign it as we went along in the production of the whole city hub, we actually
Access granted.
Nice. What's the point of this building? What's the point? What's going on? That's nothing. That's nothing. Maybe I could break the window and jump down there. Wish I had a silencer. Anyway, I've already been down there. I guess it's just for the explorer experience. The hacking experience.
So, John, you managed to do promotion for your girlfriend back in the day.
So there's yeah, something like that. There's a lot of the posters in Detroit City. My girlfriend at the time, my ex-girlfriend actually was studying for her master's in industrial design, and there was all sorts of events that they had to prepare for, and they had to do posters to promote. And you know, because we wanted to have a lot of realism and credibility, right? All the ads or logos or whatever, all the way down to posters and magazines in the game. One night I was just trying to design posters, and I was at home, my apartment, and as I was designing this poster, I started looking around my house, and there's all these already made, really nice posters made by real designers, real graphic artists, real industrial designers. You know, studying at the master's level. So it's like, shit.
Wait a minute.
I was like, what the hell? I'm just gonna take that down, you know. And I remember not even telling her. She ended up finding out later. But yeah, so a lot of them in Detroit are. It's actually her work. Yeah.
Okay.
This city is one big gutter. Always will be.
You think this is bad? Wait till the UN passes that legislation thing. Detroit is gonna be one giant breadline.
That's what I've been saying. David Seraphin saved this city. He split it into the haves and have-nots.
Yeah, damn right. I've been living for 10 years. Don't I got the right to get in?
Whoops.
I'm thinking about getting my pit bull augmented. Get him some cyber paws, cyber fangs and shit. And throw him in the ring.
Dogmentation?
Yeah, word. We should, what do you call that? Register. Patent.
Copyright.
Yeah, copyright. Let's copyright that shit. Dogmentation. Yo, we're gonna be rich, man.
Oh god.
Maybe those Purity First nuts have got the right idea. Might be the only way to get the governments off their asses and do something.
This city is one big gutter and always will be.
You think?
Hey, pal, you got any change in that fancy code of yours?
You think this is bad? Wait till the UN passes.
He just really had to get his talk
Detroit is gonna be
point
one
through.
giant breadline.
That's what I've been saying. David Seraphin saved this city. He split it into the haves and have-nots.
Well, I got the right to get enhanced? No. Dude, even if I did, how the hell am I gonna afford that drug? Neuropuppacy.
Neuropathy.
Whatever. Gotta pay up the ass for that one.
like the ambient sounds. Oh, there's a door up here, okay.
Access granted.
Nice. You can also get there by jumping over this fence, okay. And hey.
Access granted.
Okay, this is Tyndall's apartment. Oh yeah. Hostages rescued at Seraph Manufacturing Plant. Tragedy was averted in Milwaukee Junction this evening as Detroit SWAT teams swept through the Seraph Industries manufacturing plant, freeing workers from pro-human extremists who had been holding them hostage for several hours. Could have been a bloodbath, commented Sergeant Neil Townsend, chief of the tactical unit, but we encountered very little resistance. The operation was a complete success. Townsend's words were in stark contrast to witness accounts criticizing the team for reacting too slowly. The SWAT team sure took their sweet time. They stood around for hours. They were afraid to move for something, said an unidentified man. Townsend's department is still deflecting blame for mishandling a similar standoff 2 years ago in Mixingtown when a SWAT team killed a 15-year-old teen, igniting a citywide riot. Antioch Harris at large. The mastermind behind today's hostage taking at Seraph Industries is on the loose. He is being hunted down by local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. Decorated ex-Marine Ezekiel Zeke Sanders is the leader of a militant pro-human activist known as Purity First. And not Purity Second. If only I had the power to move fridges. Security gate update. Notice to all tenants. A new security gate has been installed and activated. The gate code is 0002. Do not disclose this code to any non-tenants. Safety concerns all of us. Thank you for your cooperation with the management. This conversation was automatically saved to your conversation history. Reaver, Brian, you there? Tinder.
I know you're here, man. What? You think you can just cut me off? Come on, man. I need my new...
Cindy boy, not a good idea. Gotta keep a low profile. Reaver, she's in pain. Neighbors are gonna complain to the cops. Shitty news pod, please. Reaver, Brian, you there? Tinny boy, alright, but I don't have much new pods left. Reaver, I'll pay. Timmy boy, I don't want your money. It's never about the money. Reaver, what about Corella? Can you score more NP from him? Tinny boy, he's getting less and less cooperative. Reaver, shit, didn't you have dirt on him or something? Tinny boy, right here in my pocket, man. But you can only push a man so far. Tinny boy, I'll meet you behind the gas station down the street, but hurry, I don't like being out in the open like this. Reaver, you are the man behind the gas station, got it. Oh shoot, I forgot that. We hope for better things, the past and future of Detroit. Part 6, where now? Ours has been described as a bleak city beset by tension between race, between rich and poor, between humans and augments. While it is true that Detroit never fully recovered from the loss of the motor vehicle industry and the aftermath of the oil crash, can we really allow that to be the epitaph for a metropolis? Among the darkness is a beacon of light. The forward-looking Seraph Industries has made their corporate headquarters after constructing our city their corporate headquarters after constructing a manufacturing facility here. SI's founder David Seraph hopes that Detroit can once more become a beacon city, a place where reconstruction can set the standard for other places across America, and each day we struggle against the harsh realities of our life in our embattled urban wasteland to reach this laudable goal. Okay, thank you. Ooh. Already read that. There's nothing hiding on under there. Ooh, another door. Probably I might have even walked past one, I don't know. For sure.
Access granted.
Oh, this is a weapon merchant's room or whatever. Before I do this, I should actually just go sell my stuff. Okay.
Be sure to...
Okay, back here.
Access granted.
Jeez, frag mines, like you'd rather blow the whole place up than have someone know about it. Oh, Maui.
Access granted.
Security get update. Sam fucked up. Hey boss, Sam really fucked up this time. We told him to keep his cool, but that you'd come up with a clean solution. But you know him, he's with his crazy ass temper. Said there was no risk, he was covered and what not. He went straight to Big Ben's corner and iced him in the middle of the goddamn street. He said it was deserted, but I've heard through some of my personal channels that a local dealer might have witnessed all of it. I'll get you back when I know what he knows. When I know who he is and what he knows. This is Big Boss. If you ever get to Sam, you know he'll talk. We have to deal with the situation somehow. It's from Little Tony to Jack O'Malley, and I guess Jack O'Malley's the boss. Fucking crossbow arrows, okay. At least his bathroom's not booby-trapped. Just add Bill and the rise of PMCs, the Blue Water scandal. In 2011, the Blue Water Global, the worldwide leader among PMCs, became the subject of a scandal that altered the landscape of the military contracting community. PMCs, I guess, is private military contractor. On the heels of accusations of wrongdoing by its employees in Afghanistan, the journalist in the Sentai Shimbun captured the images of BG staff engaging in clandestine dealing with insurgents apparently aimed at prolonging elements of the conflict. The outcry sent shockwaves through the PMC business. Within a year, congressional hearings and a massive fall in shareholder confidence scored the death for knell for Blue Water. Public sentiment turned against PMCs. But the need for them was still very immediate, sensing an opportunity. Sergeant St. John Effolks, I don't know, founder and CEO of Bell Tower Associates, filled the power vacuum. Bell Tower, the untarnished image, worked with in the corporation's favor, beginning a rise that took it to the top of the industry. That's a sink, I'm pretty sure. Fuck. This floor also has one apartment that can be unlocked. Yawn.
Access granted.
250 XP, that's a lot. Oh god. This place is kind of creepy. Also, where's the fridge? I thought they'd moved it over here or something. Like to store organs maybe, or I don't know.
Okay, before we take a break, I want to go over something. The topic du jour is separatist terrorists. Listen, I have no love for the secession, but let's raise some real tangible truth here, followers. This is not about the separatist movement. Give me a break. California is the reason we have augmented super soldiers roaming the streets.
Access granted.
Is the reason FEMA could drop you in a concentration camp anytime they feel like? Have you so quickly forgotten they did this in the Cold War to protect you from the commies? Then after 9/11 to protect your ass from that phantasm, Bin Laden. Remember that guy? So now what? To protect you from the Mormons? These are fear tactics, plain and simple. They want you to be afraid of your neighbors. Another false flag.
Oh my god. Oh god. Atosil. I think. And these are like what, prosthetic arms? Holy shit. So a lot of
Access granted.
I did my homework and turns out little Kevin wasn't lying. They really are onto our little enterprise. They sent the wire or some shit to on the clinic line to both our cells, so toss it. If they get wind of me tapping their shit, they're gonna move on to the clinic, so it's better if you just grab whatever could link us to us. Or if you grab whatever could link us to by name and get the hell out of there. Don't forget get all humanitarian on me now. Just stop whatever you're doing, get the fuck out. Dude 13. Storage. Cleaned up the stash storage and increased the security, and I was changing code to 3663. Have a good one. That's what I thought.
Access denied.
Here we go.
Access granted.
Future Phonics here. Just wanted to point out that past Phonics there just got 2 skill points and is thinking too hard about what to do with them to say anything or something like that. I keep going up. I think I'll just end up at the top of the fire escape I was at. Yeah, the door's even still open. Oh, I took damage, damn it. Oh yeah, one quick trip to the... Wait. Okay, I've decided what I'm gonna get. I think it'll be high jump.
What'll it... See you.
So... yeah, I'm gonna grab some weapons from there. That's a shotgun in the bathroom of O'Malley's apartment. Yeah, I did read that. Oh, hey there.
Access denied. Access denied.
I think I'm good now.
Access granted.
Nice, 'cause I just strategically fortified. They made this whole building with 3 apartments. Already read the newspaper. Dealt with the junkie. Alright, I guess I'll go to this building next. And then once I do all this, the side quest will kind of just fall into line because everything's already been, like, hacked. All the places have already been, like, looked over. So I am technically also doing side quests. Although I might have to run somewhere and do something specific. Ow. Yeah, that place might be unlocked after I do it. Oh. This place is unlockable now. Who the hell comes up with this stuff?
Access granted.
I meant, like, the layout of the... Jeez, if none of these people moved in yet? On view. Wednesday night's essential viewing on Hollow, flat screen, and streaming media. Picus News Network. The Global Report with Eliza Kassan. Kassan interviews Cyber Olympian Sandra Peppenhaus and Elder Rocker Joko. Heroes on Call. This conclusion of the two-part episode finds Todd and his Bell Tower team trapped in the orphanage by a UN hit squad. So Bell Tower is the good guys and the UN is the bad guys. Interesting. DigiDirect. Clean Streets. Hapless detective Jack Clean forces his partner to masquerade as his wife when Susan divorces him, with hilarious results. Clean Streets. Okay. How's he forcing? Never mind. National Enhanced Hockey League. Coverage of the Paris Towers versus Seattle Hammers game. So it's enhanced, like, people with augments. Holly, Wood, and Vine. Holly discovers she's pregnant. Envision. Envision Extra. The Panchaea Project. It's probably just, like, a documentary or, like a slightly wider news program that'll tell you, like, all about one specific thing for, like, 40 minutes. Okay, Cinevid. I'm guessing this is the movie. Swords of Soulband. 2014 adventure. Fantasy adventure. MV3. The Yashia Akim, the Steel Skin Tour. I don't know, M3V or whatever that means. Live concert from... Oh, it's like music. Augmented Combat Challenge 26 Championship. Highlights of last year's competition. You know, one thing about augmented people is it'd be probably easier for them to kill each other, too. Like, if their heads weren't, What was that second one? Oh, yeah, I think I did read that. Atios out terrorist at large. I don't know who let Zeke Sanders go, but he really dropped the ball, apparently. Zeke Sanders was supposed to die there, according to Jensen. Okay.
Access granted.
Finally hooked up. Hey B, so you finally moved on up? How they broke you out of any of your stuff? Let me know when they hook you up to your internet. I'll come and give you a hand with everything. Take care of your big brother. From Brooke MC12 at gaggle.det.usa or US. Oh no, okay, I was gonna say, this is just spiral and like go nowhere. Oh, this is where I came in. Maybe it's just another one of those apartment buildings that's like finite. Oh no, there's an up. Like that one where it was just like a hallway. It's like, what the hell is this? Oh, it was literally the same apartment building. That's what I was thinking. It's good to be sure. And I heard it's also hip to be square. There's nothing! You know, it feels like a lot when I'm reminiscing about it, but now I'm doing it. It's like, it doesn't feel like as much stuff in this game as I thought. Alright, still don't have the landing system. Ooh, there we go.
So this is the basketball. It's the
famous basketball
the famous
court.
basketball court. I
My
mean,
favorite.
it's an homage to the original Deus Ex, but for us it was not necessarily something that we would do by default. Like we didn't have the physics for that. We didn't have like all the things we needed. And on top of that, some people in the team, they were like, why spending time doing this?
Yeah, what's the point?
What's the point? And that's the thing. One of our writer, Taras Taziuk, was coming to me like almost every single day. I want the basketball in there. I want the basketball
And
in
he
there.
came to me. He came to me too, and I said, we got the baseball in for Seraph, so hush."
And then eventually with T-Bone, I managed to push him to create the ball, and then.
And the thing is, I'm actually the one who wanted with my little artist to actually make sure we have a freaking basketball in there, not the whole core, but just the basketball hoop, and even the ball was not sure, but at least just the hoop itself to have that clin d'oeil, that just little tease from 361, and but the physics on the ball, man, it created nightmares on programmer side, and they really hated me on this. But, yeah.
But we fought. You fought.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's just a small example for things that seem very mundane in the game. Sometimes it's a big challenge, or you have to mobilize a lot of people to make this happen.
Especially when it was possible to do it in 1999.
Especially, yeah, as crazy as it sounds.
Barely traveled game, but I guess this place is kind of off the beaten path. Oh, I think I could have used this before, actually. It's like a short... No, I think it's a shortcut that, goes to a place I haven't been yet.
Well, now we're with Patrick Garon, which was our technical level designer on the project. And for this moment, what we want to talk about is the fact that we wanted to have some events in the game where they were not necessarily side quests per se, but they were events in which your morality could be affected if someone is attacked or something like that, and you could intervene and with consequences. But it didn't happen, right?
Yeah. To do Squid event in Deus Ex, it was hard. To do Squid event in Deus Ex, it was hard. Like we had lots of good ideas, and we had two major limitations. Like the first one I can think of is the engine, but also production-wise. And the engine was allowing us to put animation, but to be able to synchronize like NPC together, to manage the interruption and all that was not something that was simple to do with our engine. So lots of the ideas were cut because of that. And when we were able to do them, it became like a problem of production, because to create a very simple situation, with the Deus Ex game, you don't have a choice but to ask you what happened if the player do that, or the player can do so many different
the chaos and all that, you know. And
he has augmentation that he can go and sneak, can be like invisible, so we will not interrupt. Someone will disappear. What do we do? What does he say? He start to talk to a guy before the event, after the event.
It's very complex.
So it becomes a something simple become very complex. So we always ask ourselves, what if? And for a game, when we want to create quality, so we will ask, will the player will be happy with the result? And we spend most of that time doing the side quests instead, because there will be a good story that will be developed, and those encounters we decided to cut them or to change the scope and to something very simple.
Finally got a stun gun, but I have to come back because I need to sell that shotgun.
What'll it be?
I should just sell these and use the only thing is they're way more precise than frag grenades or whatever.
See you soon.
I see you soon. Okay. Old Folks Brown Ale. Gain up to 5 additional health points up to a maximum of 200. Used from the inventory. Brewed in the old country, in the old way by the old people with little patience for young punks and their fancy ideas. It was good. If it was good enough in the game, it's good enough for you. That's old folks' brown ale. Warning: alcoholic beverages imbue the drinker with a small increase to damage resistance. Each alcoholic beverage consumed will increase its effect. Adverse effects will include blurred vision. Here, you read this one too. Ja Hot Devil Ale. Gain 5 health points, just like the other one. British gave much to India. Over 200 years of economic plundering, over 100 years of forced colonial rule, famines, rebellions, and beer. What? The devil? That's Maharaja Hot Devil Sahib. That's a funny fucking one.
How would you book me a trick inside the room? What if some shit goes down? How am I even gonna get out of there?
Don't worry, baby. I'll come to get you.
You crazy? They ain't just gonna let you go through the front door.
The way in to the 4th floor of the building next door. Or if you can get away, meet me in the sewers.
What you say? I ain't crawling through no sewers on account of your bullshit.
Now we're entering in Delaric Row, one of the part of the Detroit City Hub that started as a zone of exploration that was adding the gangs and everything to add some combat opportunities or stealth opportunities a little bit more in the City Hub and everything. But the thing is that in our story beats that we already identified, we didn't have much.
This at all.
Yeah.
No, the original plan for Detroit was that you had the objective of going to the limb clinic, go to the police station, and the police station would be the area with the real challenge, and then you would go to your apartment, and then you would go straight to FEMA. But we had this entire section that sprung up from the level designers wanting to put that darn gameplay into there.
And that whole environment was actually from the very first vertical slice. So the whole environment, the whole courtyard with the ruined buildings, is very, very old, and we just patch in more gameplay aspect, more smaller rooms and all that throughout the production. And so VS1, VS2, all the way to alpha and beta. So that environment is definitely old, both visually and also technically in the game.
Yeah, and so suddenly we had this area where there's like, okay, well, we were kind of thinking about rival gangs in the city, so we kind of suddenly made it the gang territory. But then it was like, we need an objective to send you in there, and it was like, we don't have one. And that's where the antenna came from, is that we just kind of had
so
to
well placed
come
as
up
well.
with a story reason why you have to get into gang territory to shut down an antenna.
And players weren't finding the
We
antenna.
had so many problems. Yeah, it was that was on me. I mean, it was basically bad level design to place that antenna not in your line of sight or entice it properly and whatnot. So it was a very bad thing to do. But try to patch a good system. This is where we actually try to optimize our checkpoint system, the objective locator, place it to more like a piece of bread bread
Breadcrumbs?
system. Yeah, breadcrumb. Thank you.
God.
So when we're asked if story come first or gameplay come first, well, in this case, gameplay really came first.
Thanks to the beef, the bangers don't got half the artillery we do.
Good to know.
So tell me, you chosen a weapon and victim for the last stage of your initiation?
Yeah. I'm gonna muck one of the hobos under the overpass with a longsword.
Sniper action. Very nice.
Okay, I dealt with those guys. I got back to where I was. And apparently I don't lose Ghost as long as I do this before I do the other mission, so I don't have to worry about Ghost.
Hey, Joseph. Long no see.
So this is a corner of the street where there are several prostitutes, and I can't remember what were their name, working girls.
Working
or
girls,
something?
yes.
And one of them is called Charlotte, and actually it's a
The only prostitute in the game with
that
a
has
name.
a name, exactly, and it refers to Charlotte the Harlot on the first Iron Maiden album. And actually, even though I'm the biggest Iron Maiden fan in the team, it was not coming from me. Actually, it's one of the programmers that came to me with that idea. And we were late in the development. Everybody were tired. Everybody were over their heads. And I was like, gosh, it's so exciting, and it would be nice. And I said, okay, I'll take my courage, and I'll go see Frank McCann with that. And I asked, can we change the name of a character like that and for Charlotte? And Frank looks at me super seriously like, why? Yeah, but you know, it's
But he
kind of
always looks super serious.
Yeah,
That's Frank.
Frank looks serious.
Very funny guy. I don't know why you're saying that.
And he looks at me very seriously like, why the hell do you want me to do that kind of attitude? And I said, yeah, it's a kind of a homage to Iron Maiden. And since Frank used to like Iron Maiden quite a bit, or still, he was very sensitive to my case, and he took 5 minutes to do it.
And I promise that there'll be no reference to Iron Maiden in our next game.
Aw.
How about a little sugar, baby? I'll give you a Motown special.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Jensen. Long time no see.
Jensen. My God, it's been a while. Remember me? We used to work the old 17th precinct back in the day. Man, I wish I could go with the good old you haven't changed at all bit, but that'd be complete and utter bullshit, right?
Flirty. I like your new style. You're right, what's the deal? Guess that's one way to put it. I said when people ask me questions about my OGs, I'm always gonna pick this one, so.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to put it. I like your new style. A bit revealing for my taste, but not entirely unappealing.
Oh, yeah? Well, don't get your hopes up, big boy. I'm undercover, keeping tabs on derelict row ballers. I've got a hunch something big's coming.
Why do I get the sudden feeling you're about to include me into that something big?
Because you're clever. That and the fact that, well, it's pretty obvious. But jokes aside, you couldn't have come at a better time, Jensen. This case I'm on, we're stalling and we could use a little external help.
Go ahead.
I'm with IA now, and we're working a sting on a dirty cop named Jack O'Malley. Elusive motherfucker. I mean, Men in Black elusive. We know he's involved in drugs, weapon dealing, tied into the gangs. But he's clever, and we just can't seem to pin anything on him. I swear he's got friends in high places.
Okay, and where do I fit in all this?
You're an outsider. You can go places we legally can't. I need someone to do a couple of things. Break into his apartment, sneak into DRB territory, and finally, go undercover posing as a hitman. This guy is nothing minor, Jensen. He's the real deal. Major player, major consequences. We have to get him before shit hits the fan. You in?
How about the target, O'Malley? Got any more info?
He's a cop, but he went on assignment with the feds for a while. No reports, no address, nothing. We're pretty sure he got tied up in major covert ops, but never got anything solid on him. He has a badge, but he doesn't feel like a cop at all.
Huh.
I haven't walked the beat in a while. Could you give me a quick sit rep of the local gangs?
You know, gangs are not the finest example of evolution, if you catch my drift. Everything's pretty much the same. The derelict row ballers are still dealing and stealing, getting into fights with OGs, and defacing augmented people's property.
Yeah, right. Upstanding citizens.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have the Motor City Bangers. Ignorant scumbags just like the DRBs, only some of them are augmented scumbags.
Can't let a guy like that roam free. I'm in.
All right then, let's get to work. Like I said, I've got a couple of very promising leads, but O'Malley's got friends among the powers that be. I wouldn't be able to get my hands on a warrant, even if I had footage of the perp confessing in real time as he's finger painting his motive on the wall in the victim's blood. So I guess we're gonna have to break a few rules.
We have to be careful how we handle this,
Okay.
I think.
But we have to be careful how we handle this. It could discredit your investigation.
True, but thing is, Jensen, it's either this or there simply won't be an investigation. You know me, I usually play by the book. Only this time, the bad guy's a friend of the publisher.
So what am I looking for in O'Malley's apartment?
Information, drugs, weapons. Basically anything you think can be used to build a stronger case against him. The more you get, the better.
What about the undercover assignment? Posing as a hitman.
O'Malley's crafty, and even a bit paranoid. He's always using proxies, scapegoats, and red herrings to get us off his ass. But after months of schmoozing, we finally got through to one of his guys. Turned him into a mole. He provides us with information, stuff like that.
And he's gonna be my way in?
Exactly. Yesterday, another one of O'Malley's guys whacked someone, a drug dealer. There's a witness, but we don't have any details. O'Malley does, and he wants someone to take care of the mess. The usual guy just got busted for possession, so the contact will send you in to pose as his replacement. O'Malley will be waiting for you in an alley next to the police station.
And you want me to milk him to get the info on the witness?
You haven't lost your touch, Jensen. We think O'Malley will ask you to retrieve the murder weapon, use it to kill the witness, and then plant it on a scapegoat he can arrest later. What you need to do is get that weapon and bring it to me.
And what about the witness?
We're almost positive he's a member of the MCBs. Once you know the location, you'll need to get there, take care of any opposition, and prep him for retrieval.
Prep him?
Well, you know, he's a gangbanger, Jensen. He's not going to turn in peacefully, but we need him alive. So I guess you're going to have to play this one macho and knock him out. One of our guys will then just happen to stumble upon him. You know, serendipity.
Okay. What's this about getting into DRB territory?
Yeah, I needed to get in there and track down a shipment of weapons for me. We managed to gain access to solid information that will tie it to O'Malley, but I need proof it's really there. They've probably stashed it around somewhere.
A cop dealing weapons to a criminal anti-aug gang? Not a pretty picture.
Got that right. I guess we both agree. Nothing good can come out of this, huh? I don't know where exactly the DRB's cache is, but I know there's a bonus for you if you manage to sneak in and out without being spotted. Would make shit easier to handle on my side.
Okay, let's do this. You can contact me on my info link if anything comes up.
Excellent. Oh, and Jensen, one last thing. To protect my cover, it'd be better if you only contact me again once you've taken care of everything.
Come on.
So I'm gonna actually go to Adam's apartment.
Automated information network, including directory assistance, tourist information, and street quest. Services are temporarily offline. Thank you.
It's like, these are all our services. I'm like, oh, cool. And then it's like, services are temporarily offline. Thank you. It's like, oh, never mind.
If you ask me, these riots are David Seraph's fault. How can you say that? He has this air of arrogance about him, this sense of superiority. People
Humanity
don't
Front.
like arrogance. David
Speaking
Seraph
from the
is
tarmac at
so
Wayne County Airport, Taggart called the attacks
An extremely regrettable
doesn't mean he has the right
I'd
to look
very
down
much
on us.
like.
In fact, most people who support augmentation technology have that sense of entitlement about them. Like, because they have money and can enhance themselves, they can do whatever they want.
Put it in perspective, Sharon. If the people you're talking about have jobs, chances are they have David Seraph to thank for it.
Oh yeah, he's playing. Looks like a PSP but with a touchscreen.
thanks to the arrival of William Taggart, celebrity author and founder of the anti-augmentation organization, Humanity Front. Speaking from the tarmac at Wayne County Airport, Taggart called the attacks
An extremely regrettable affair. I'd very much
Think
like
she sees
to
me.
meet with David Seraph in person to offer my deepest sympathies and assure him that these attacks are in no way linked to Humanity Front. My people have worked tirelessly to find a peaceful solution to this dispute, and I unequivocally deplore the methods used by these hostage takers. Now, that being said, I do hope the UN takes a concentrated look at what happened here tonight.
Mr. Taggart went on to express a sincere desire to stand in front of the General Assembly with David Seraph, united in their cause to find a common ground. Should that day ever come to pass, one cannot help but wonder if millionaire Hugh Darrow, the man whose innovations first propelled augmentation technology to the forefront, will also be president.
There is no way. Believe me, I've tried.
Just listening in to her conversation.
Pretty bad, right? Bye-bye.
Before you ask, no. Your mirror has not been replaced, Mr. Jensen.
Mirror last call. Hi, the mirror you ordered for the penthouse bathroom arrived in our warehouse almost 4 weeks ago. This is your last reminder. If you don't pick it up right away, we'll have to ship it back. Thanks. Every building has tenants can afford to lose, and others it cannot. I trust you know what is best and will act accordingly. Please let me know your final decision. Thank you. Athene Margolis. You wrote, Mr. Margolis, in response to your recent inquiry about renting rooms to more Seraph employees, I regret that this will not be possible because we have no more rooms available. All of our apartments are currently leased. Vote your daughter, Mr. Horst. Thank you for your time. I will be in Detroit in 2 days to discuss this further. Alan Wistwind, you said. Mr. Wistwind, I'm sorry, I cannot be any more help since I do not know the circumstances under. All of us, any of us here know is that you have already been told. With her rent over a week late, I have no answer on the telephone and no reply to mails for several days. Our custodian has entered the room with a passkey, standard procedure as outlined in the lease you signed. The room was discovered to be completely empty, with no furniture and no wall hangings. Even the garbage had been removed. Again, as per the lease, we assumed the room had been vacated without notice and re-rented it. We have received no communication from your daughter since her last rent payment. Sincerely sorry, Sherry Terhorst.
Today I've had to deal with petty vandalism, unreasonable demands from corporate clients, and a variety of other pressing problems. So facilitating your grooming had to be given a lower priority. Before you ask, no. Your mirror has not been replaced, Mr. Jensen.
Just gonna go into my room. Is this my house? Yes, I'm pretty sure it is.
Welcome home, Mr. Jensen.
There's a gun here. Or, there is a gun there, but... Advanced clock building. Ingenious mechanical devices. The Autonoma of Al-Jazari. Al-Jazari's so-called elephant clock, conceived in 1206... the year, was not only the first iteration of a water-powered timepiece capable of accurately registering the hours of the day in their irregular lengths, but also first to utilize the aesthetic device of a clockwork autonoma, a chirping bird and a human striking a cymbal. The length of the clock's hourly intervals can be programmed by the adjustment of a flow regulator mechanism. Al-Jazari's later designs, building on his works with the hydro-powered autonoma and detailed in his writings appearing in his book of knowledge of ingenious mechanical devices, included the word castle clock. This mechanism is widely regarded by scholars as history's first programmable NEE analog computer system. In addition to showing the passage of time, it also featured a display of the celestial zodiac and the orbits of the sun and the moon. That's cool. What's this? I don't want to enter my computer yet. Augment you. Now with more... Wait, what? Iron. Fruit-flavored cereal. I must have spun the mouse wheel, yeah, I guess. Okay. Someone probably sent it as like a gag present.
So Adam's apartment is one of the, I think, the most intricate, kind of interesting places in the game. You know, during the production, we actually called it the Adams Museum, and the whole idea is because that's what we wanted it to be. We wanted people to just walk through it, and just by observing, you know, just through all the show don't tell, to get a lot of information on Adam's background and Adam's personality and what's happened to him in the past, and also show that he likes cereals. a lot. And also, there's a secret stash behind the TV, which is a bit of an homage to the first Deus Ex, which was I think in Paul's apartment, where you had all the secret stuff with the computers behind the shelves and whatnot. And also, Mary does all this stuff on the
there's all this stuff on the workbench, because we had written in his backstory this big long thing about how he's always been a collector. He used to go to old secondhand stores and stuff and find old mechanical objects that he liked to take apart, and because he was curious and he was very into that. And so we pulled that out, and what was interesting about it is we didn't actually tell the story of his backstory, but people who came and saw that workbench then made up their own stories and basically wrote to us and were saying things like, wow, it's so cool. It's like how he's trying to understand his own body and his new mechanics. And I was like, oh, I like that backstory a lot better than what I came up with. So yeah, that's what we're going with.
But actually, it was that too. This room was supposed to give you all the personality of Adam Jensen through his environment. So.
Child and violence. Narcotics. Laws of Detroit 2. Resolving conflicts. SWAT is just a book about SWAT. Sports Encyclopedia. It's child and violence again. Is that supposed to be Megan? I don't think so. Maybe that's his mother? Encyclopedia Illuminica. Here. In respect to your latest reminder to have the mirror in your bathroom replaced, may I remind you once again that the items is on back order and the situation is out of our hands. No amount of pestering will make it arrive any sooner. While we are on the subject, we are still unclear as to how precisely this mirror came to be damaged. Perhaps you can enlighten us. Thank you, Sherry Terhorst.
So here we can see all these cards that Adam received while he was in convalescence from his operation. You had to stay home probably for quite a while, and these are the cards that people sent him to get, they get better, to get well cards, and it shows, the amount of details that we wanted to put in the game, and again, the show don't tell, and to have a lot of the universe live through just little things like this that you could see.
And the fact that they're still on his desk shows that it was not a long time ago. Like he was somewhat rushed out of.
Yeah. Or that he just never cleans, but
one or the other.
And then there's the cracked mirror, right?
Yeah, and the cracked mirror in his bathroom is a big part of it too. I think that we are always saying, even before we knew if we could have mirrors in it, we were saying we absolutely have to have a mirror in his bedroom, and he has to have cracked it. And it shows a lot about what he's been going through, and it did help us cover some of the technical limitations that we had in the game, I believe.
Yeah, because we decided we wouldn't have reflective mirrors for whatever reason.
And and for some reason, like this kind of psychological reflection of his anger toward what happened to him, like really resonated with the fans, and I think it made them empathize even more with the character.
And like I said, because technically we couldn't do actual mirrors throughout the whole game, so we kind of rollball on it and have fun through the emails between him and the assistant.
Yeah, that's true.
Down in the lobby and all. So.
It became a bigger story.
Okay. Actually, I'll keep those because I keep stockpiling them. Be able to drop the full ones. Because I've never fucking used those weapons anyway. And I'll pick those beers up. I'll just go give them all to that lady. I did roll back paying her, and I feel a little bad about it. Well, at least Adam Jensen has 3 combat rifles in his room. It's not full. Oh wait, the way the beers place themselves. I forgot. Things place themselves in like stupid ways in this game. There's magic gnome, suspiciously something. I think it's delicious or something. It's really blurry. Crunchy to pirate. Sunbrand.
Re-establishing security system. See you soon, Mr. Jensen.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I knew you and that mess were close, but I didn't realize you were that close.
I'm sorry. I don't know. I guess I wanted to be reminded of what it was like to be with someone normal.
You were the one who wanted us to get enhanced. Now you're saying we're not normal anymore. Well, I'll try not to touch you too often with my cold, dead, metal hand. Okay?
Wow, that was that hit me kind of hard. That's not. I did not expect that. I've never heard that before.
Okay, bye.
Man, that woman has cheekbones.
That's a pretty lame come on, hun. Especially since I just know this humidity is ruining my hair.
Oh, okay.
People see conspiracies everywhere. They're saying that Lim's personal catalogs mean some people get preferential treatment. Please.
I get preferential treatment.
You work for Seraph Industries, don't you? I think it's terrible, all these attacks against your offices.
The biomod industry is going to tear this city apart. Mark my words.
No offense, but if it were up to me, this place would have a no-AUG policy.
Oh, thanks. Thank you for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the future. Bye for now.